Work with us on economic issues, work with us on the friendships and the relationships that we have on a personal basis around the world, and work with us on security issues so that we can deliver for the people that own our countries, and we can rebuild the trust that they demand. And we will be amazed at what we can accomplish in a very short period of time.
Don't talk to me about friendship, Pete. A real friend doesn't push annexation. A real friend doesn't slap on tariffs just to flex. You keep saying we, but every word benefits only the United States. Today we're taking a look at the U.S. ambassador to Canada, someone with a long history of controversy. Back when he was the ambassador to the Netherlands, he claimed that there were no go zones and said politicians were being set on fire. Then he denied ever saying it, even though it's all on video. Now we're stuck with this clown as the ambassador to Canada, and he's just as delusional as Donald. This channel was created to push back when U.S. media ignored the 51st state rhetoric. And in just a few weeks, we've grown faster than we ever expected. If you're new here, a like and subscribe helps us keep this going. Let's get into what Pete's been saying over the last 4 months.
In an interview with the National Post, the new U.S. ambassador to Canada commented on the threats to Canada's sovereignty from our southern neighbors.
From my standpoint, from the president's standpoint, 51st state's not coming back. The president may bring it up every once in a while, but he recognizes it's not going to happen unless the prime minister engages with the president.
U.S. Ambassador to Canada Pete Hoekstra says U.S. President Donald Trump is unlikely to ever completely remove all of the tariffs.
The president has made it clear that there will probably be a tariff on every country that we do business with. Okay? I mean, he's campaigned on that and has said that.
He also says he is confident Canada can reach a deal to secure the lowest tariffs possible. Hoekstra said Canada should highlight areas the two countries can work together on. That includes critical minerals, automotive, energy, defense, and fentanyl.
Didn't Donald say we don't need anything from Canada? That comment stuck, and it's not something we'll forget anytime soon. Now we've got Pete. No backbone, just smoother delivery. He parrots the same talking points as Donald, just with a softer tone. But make no mistake, he's not speaking for both countries. He's speaking for one, and is not ours. Here's a perfect example. Pete actually said, "It's outrageous that you banned American products from your shelves." Really? What exactly did you expect us to do? Stay quiet while your president talks annexation? Ignore the 51st state rhetoric? Smile through random tariffs and border searches like it's normal? That's not diplomacy. That's arrogance. And comments like Pete's only make the boycott stronger. Let's keep going.
This is a response to the Trump administration basically instilling not just prohibitive, but crippling tariffs on Canadian industry that have had significant impacts, devastating impacts on the steel industry, on the aluminum industry, on the lumber industry, so many others. Canola, of course, out west is another element, and also a blatant attempt to try to not just circumvent, but almost bury the Canadian auto industry. What do you think, Ambassador Hoekstra? What do you think we're going to do? Sit back and say, oh, that's a damn shame, but that's your policy. I guess we're just going to have to live with it. No, we're not going to do that. Of course we're going to respond. And this is the way the governments respond. And make no mistake about it, the response that the Canadian government and the Ontario government and so many others have done right now is a response to the American government's actions. Period. End of sentence.
Well said. This clip is from Bill Kelly's podcast. If you haven't heard his stuff yet, I recommend checking it out. He doesn't sugarcoat anything. What Bill has said is a clear message from our government. We're not just going to sit back quietly, and we're definitely not giving in to Donald's demands like they're reasonable. Too bad, Pete. It's not going to happen. Let's keep going.
Would you agree that Canada is a sovereign state and should not be even jokingly referred to as the 51st state?
Thank you. Canada is a sovereign state, yes. How the president and the relationship between the former prime minister and Canada, the characteristics and nature of that relationship, I don't know. Okay.
I view as a positive, sir, that we have a new prime minister in Canada.
Yes.
And a chance for a reset. Given my time, I will simply assert that Mexico, Japan, and Canada are among our most important allies. I'm very encouraged there is a positive start to the U.S.-Japan relationship with the meeting with Prime Minister Ishida, but I am hopeful that casual threats about throwing Canada out of Five Eyes, not respecting our border treaty, and their potentially being annexed as a 51st state will stop, and that a positive, respectful conversation about our close integration will continue. I look forward to working with you on pressing the Canadians to increase their defense investment and pressing the Canadians to meet some of our trading objectives, but also I will continue to press for a reduction in some of the rhetoric that I think has destabilized our relationship. I'll also recognize that the amount of fentanyl coming into the United States from Canada is minuscule relative to the very real challenge at our southern border, and I hope we can find a way to move forward on the U.S.-Canada relationship, the U.S.-Japan relationship, and the U.S.-Mexico relationship with the leadership of all three of you. Thank you.
Minuscule. That's the word. The number of fentanyl coming from Canada is a fraction of what comes through the southern border, and at least someone in the U.S. government is finally acknowledging that. Credit where it's due. This speaker also calls out the 51st state rhetoric. But let's be honest, it feels like he's just lecturing one of Donald's background extras. And we all know how far that's going to go. In one ear, out the other. Now, putting Pete aside for a moment, the real headline is Donald heading to Canada for the G7. Let's hear from his other lapdog.
President Trump will travel to the G7 Leaders Summit in Canada from June 15th through the 17th. We will be sending an additional logistics information out after the briefing.
Donald Trump is officially coming to Alberta next month for the G7 summit, his first visit to Canada since 2018. The summit will run from June 15th to the 17th in Kananaskis, where Prime Minister Mark Carney will host world leaders like Macron and Starmer, despite over 60,000 Canadians petitioning to keep Trump out. With tensions high over Trump's tariffs on Canadian goods, RCMP are locking down the area with highway checkpoints, drone bans, and a no-fly zone to protect the summit.
Yep, the orange idiot is coming to Canada for the G7 summit. It feels like that one loud, drunken relative who shows up to dinner. No one wants him there, but you invite him because you have to. And the whole time, you're just waiting for him to say something embarrassing in front of everyone. I think I speak for a lot of Canadians when I say, stay home, Donald. But here we are. Let's end this one with a bit of humor. And if you've been enjoying the content, hit like and subscribe. It helps more Canadians find us and helps us to keep going.
President Trump will travel to the G7 Leaders Summit in Canada from June 15th through the 17th.
And on behalf of Canada, let me just say,
I see assholes like you every day.
Every fucking day. Think you gonna get away with it? Not up in here!
Not up in here!
Did you hear the news? President Trump is coming to Kananaskis for the G7. Kananaskis has a beautiful world-class golf course, and we know how much he loves to golf. But did you know there is often wildlife, including grizzly bears, seen out on that golf course? That's interesting, don't you think?